Welcome learners. We are going to discuss further about what exactly is performance review is about and what are its methods. In earlier module, we discussed about the importance of having a performance review, the advantages and disadvantages of it, and also the methods generally used in an organization. Let us look at some more methods which are being offered in this in organizations. What are the more methods which we have to learn in this particular module? Modern methods of performance appraisal. We are going to discuss on modern methods of performance appraisal like assessment centers, having assessment centers, what are its advantages and disadvantages, and what is human resource accounting to do with performance review, how does it play an important role, and what exactly it does, and whether it has an advantage or edge over other methods. All these aspects we are going to discuss. Then we are also going to discuss what are the limitations in having human resource accounting as assessing an employee. We also are going to discuss behaviorally anchored rating scales, what exactly BAS is about, and what are the steps involved in framing this particular method, and what are the advantages and disadvantages having this method. Then we are also going to discuss on management by objectives. By this particular method also, you are able to evaluate a person's assessment. So these are the different advantages and disadvantages which we are going to discuss regarding different methods. And finally, we are going to discuss about 360-degree feedback. The feedback which is given from all the sides, from subordinates, from peer group, from top management, from your customers. All these factors, how does it play in assessing a person's evaluation? All these factors we are going to discuss in this particular module. One of the potential drawbacks of a trait-oriented performance appraisal is that traits tend to be very vague and subjective. One way to improve a rate scale is to have descriptions of behavior along a scale or continuum. These descriptions permit the rater to readily identify the point where a particular employee falls on the scale. Modern methods have been developed to specifically describe which action should be or should not be exhibited on the job. Modern methods are also called behavioral methods. They are frequently more useful for providing employees with developmental feedback. So earlier we were discussing about traditional methods which are used in the organization. Now let us look at the modern methods. Assessment centers are established in the organization. What is assessment center? Let us look at the history of having an assessment center. In the 1930s, the concept of assessment centers were initially applicable to military situations in Germany Army and the War Office Selection Board of the British Army in the 1960s. The basic purpose of this method was to examine the candidates in the social situation using the variety of procedures and a number of assessors. Earlier, the assessment centers were being used for executive hiring, but these days these centers are used for the purpose of evaluating supervisory or executive potential. An assessment center is a central location where the managers may come together to participate in job-related exercises who are then evaluated by the trained observers. An assessment center evaluates the following. It evaluates the communication skills, interpersonal skills, ability to plan and organize, mental alertness, resistance to stress, self-confidence in behavioral terms. This is what is evaluated by an assessment center in an organization. What are the advantages of having an assessment center? Assessment center is used for selection, training and promotion of candidates. The candidates can find out the strengths and weaknesses, and the candidates can improve their performance also by this. They can increase their strengths and remove their weaknesses. It is more valid because the candidate is evaluated or judged by many different experts. Most valid method of predicting a candidate's performance is the job. The way in which the assessment center collects data is the most fair and objective to make recruitment methods. Assessment center improves planning and also administration. What are the disadvantages of having an assessment center in the organization? Assessment center is very costly because you have to involve so many managers who are well versed in these activities. It is very time consuming because you have to hire people who have knowledge about these things, and you need highly experienced managers to evaluate these candidates. And also the evaluators may also be biased, and in this type of appraisal the candidates may not get proper feedback. Then comes another method which is called as human resource accounting. From all the resources and in the business organization which are used in the business organization, from all the resources, the most valuable resource is the human resource, because the efficiency of all the resources depend upon it. Like other assets, they can also be measured in terms of money. That is what human resource accounting is about. In human resource accounting, the money value is attached to the value of the firm's internal human resources and its external customer goodwill. In human resource accounting, the performance of the employees is judged in terms of cost incurred and contribution made by the employees. The cost is measured in terms of expenditure on human resource planning, on recruitment and selection, on compensation, and also on training and development. And the contribution is measured in terms of money value of labor productivity and value added by human resources. Let us look at what are the advantages of having human resource accounting as a method. Human resource accounting provides a useful information about the human capital which is existing in the organization. Such information enables the manager to take right decision, and then it also lights on the strengths and weaknesses of the employees working in the organization. It facilitates management in recruitment, planning, that is whether to hire or recruit people or not. Human resource accounting also facilitates management to evaluate the effectiveness of human resource policies and practices. For example, high costs on training may warrant to look at the reforms over a period or a time. Expenses incurred in the additional recruitment in respect of a particular category of employees to indicate the need for a better compensation plan for them. Besides, human resource accounting also provides feedback to a manager even on his or her own performance. What are the advantages of having a human resource accounting? It also provides valuable information for present as well as potential investor to judge the company better on the value or strength of the human resources utilized therein. If you have to comply, the offering the same rate or return of the capital employed, for example, human resource accounting is providing information on their human resources can help the potential investors decide which one they have to choose. Finally, the information provided in human resource accounting enables the management to control various types of human resources costs and in turn help improve profitability of the organization. But it has limitations because you are using human resources as an asset. You are not treating them in the perspective of human beings, but you are using them as capital and treating them as material. So this has its own limitations. There is also a fear that the employees and trade unions may not accept the idea. The reasons are not difficult to seek. Valuing employees at different levels may lead to division among them. On the one hand, may discourage them valued at lower levels. On the other, trade unions may dislike the idea mainly because they'll have to seek reward or compensation for employees as per their levels of valuation in the organization. However, there is no sufficient empirical evidence available so far to support the contention that human resource accounting as a managerial level facilitates managers in better and effective management of human resources in the organization. So these are some of the limitations of having this method of appraising a performance. Then you have behaviorally anchored rating scale. In this particular approach, all the things are specified and they are defined, and evaluation is based on these bars, which is called as behaviorally anchored rating scale. The appraiser rates the employees based on them along a continuum, but the points are example of actual behavior on the good job rather than general description of traits. The enthusiasm surrounding this method grew from the belief that it is very specific and useful and derived for each job should produce relatively error-free and reliably, and it is also reliable rating by using or having this particular method. Although this promise has not been fulfilled, it has been argued that this may be partly due to the departures from careful methodology in the development of specific scales themselves rather than to inadequacies in the concept of bars. It has also been found to be very time consuming because you have to do a lot of research in framing or defining each aspect. The research on bars indicates that which is far from perfect. It does not reduce rating errors. Possibly, its major advantage stems from the dimensions generator rather than from any particular superiority of behavior over trait anchors. What are the advantages of having this kind of method? Because it is behaviorally based, that is the biggest advantages of having this particular method. It is totally focused on employees' performance. Ideally, it removes all uncertainty regarding the meaning of each numerical rating. And it is easy to use. The clear behavioral indicators makes the process easier for the managers to carry out and the employee to accept. And it is also equitable. With its heavy emphasis on the behavior, the evaluation process comes across fair. And it is fully individualized. From the standpoint of consistency within a company, BARS is designed and applied individually and uniquely for every position. It is also action-oriented, with an understanding of the specific performance expectation and standards of excellence. Employee can much more easily take steps to improve their performance, and they are more likely to do as a result. The process of creating and implementing BARS is time consuming. It takes a lot of time because you have to do a lot of research, then only you can come up with a particular definition of each aspect. It's very difficult and it's also very expensive. Each BARS form must be created from scratch for every position in the company. It cannot be similar to all positions. Sometimes The listed behaviors still don't include certain actions required of the employees, so managers can have difficulty as a signing a rating. It has a lot of maintenance because you have to keep on adding to it or deleting certain items. Job changes over time, which means the BARS requires a high degree of monitoring and maintenance. It's demanding of managers. In order to successfully conduct BARS evaluation, managers need detailed information regarding the actions of their employees. Gathering such data can be quite time consuming, and many managers end up letting this side. The other method is management by objectives. It was Peter Drucker who first gave the concept of management by objectives to the world. It is way back in 1954 when his book on practice of management was first published. What is management by objective? It is a philosophy of management in which employees establish objectives through consultation with their superiors, and then these objectives are used as the basis for evaluation. Management by objectives is a system involving a cycle that begins with setting the organization's common goals and objectives. The management concept was conceived by Drucker reflects a management philosophy which values and utilizes employees' contribution. Application of management by objectives in the field of performance appraisal is a recent thinking. The management by objectives process seems to be the most useful with the managerial personnel and employees who have a fairly wide range of flexibility and self-control in their jobs. Therefore, the management by objective approach involves establishing performance goals jointly by the superior as well as by the subordinates. They sit together and frame them. For this program to be effective, both superior and subordinate must be actively involved in the formulation of objectives and agree on the methods to be used to assess the performance. It also involves defining key tasks for subordinate and setting a limited number of objectives. It establishes criteria for evaluation of objectives. It determines dates for review of progress and making modifications in original objectives during review, if it is required or necessary. Having a final evaluation session for counseling and encouragement also it involves. And it also helps in setting objectives for the next cycle. What are the advantages of having this particular method? It has a better planning because you are setting the standards or the objectives, and then after that you are evaluating the person. So better planning, then it is also better for the organization because you are evaluating the person based on the objectives framed by the superior as well as the subordinate. It is defined very clear. So it is also useful for the organization because you are able to reach the goals and set goals. And it also gives self-control because you don't deviate, because you work towards whatever has been framed. The objectives are the goals which are being framed by them. What are the disadvantages of having this method? Resistance to adopt MBO technique. So you don't want to, or you don't have sufficient knowledge to frame the objectives to be set, then you resist to adopt this particular technique. Then it results in poor planning. And if you do not have proper training, you cannot do that. So all these major three disadvantages are there. Resistance to adopt MBO technique, poor planning, and lack of training. So when you do not have these characteristics, then you will be a disadvantage. And it has a limited application. You cannot use this method across the organization. then it is inflexible because you are setting the standards or the objectives and you are going only towards that. Organization is dynamic, so you cannot set certain objectives or goals without taking into account the environmental influences of the organization. And it is also expensive process. It is time consuming, you have to involve a lot of people, so a lot of cost will be incurred. So it is also an expensive proposition. Then we look at the other method, which is called as 360-degree feedback. This method evolved in the early 80s and 90s, between 80s and 90s. In this particular method, what happens, the performance in this information is collected from all the sides, not only from the individual. It is collected from the individual, superior, peer group, your customers. All the people are involved in giving the feedback about the individual. Computerized systems then complete all the feedback and individualized reports. These are presented to the person being rated. Appraiser then meet with their supervisors and sometimes with their subordinates, and they share their pertinent information for the purpose of developing the self-improvement plans. The most productive feature of this system is its ability to provide a diverse array of feedback. The use of multi-raters also provides a way to compensate faulty assessments that are sometimes obtained from inexperienced and poorly performing executives. In this method of performance appraisal, information is called from all persons around the employees, supervisors, subordinates, peers, externals, internals, all these people. Here the 360 degrees feedback, that is how the 360 feedback is evolved. The feedback is usually used for developing, training and development, needs to be compensated with the revision of the organization. The appraiser instead earlier completes the survey questionnaire about the individual. What are the advantages of having this method? It creates self-awareness. You know what exactly the others are thinking in your organization regarding your performance. It will be your superiors, it will be your peer group, it will be your subordinates, it will also be your customers. So with this method, you are able to know what people are thinking about your performance. Secondly, it identifies training gaps. By these ratings, you know what exactly where you're lacking. So the organization is able to use these gaps and sufficient training will be provided to that particular individual. So it identifies training gaps with the help of this method. Then strengthens leaders' contact with management. So with the help of this method, the manager goes to the leader and shows the performance of the individual and how the person is being rated. So it strengthens leaders' contact also with the management. With the help of this method, it gives an insight into employees' work. So because the employee is being rated with the different raters as been explained earlier. So the individual knows what exactly where he stands or she stands. Then based on this, it increases transparency within the organization. So these are the different advantages of this particular method. The disadvantages of having this method is it sidelines solve positive feedback. It does not help the individual, in consultation or consulting, talking to the person, and then you are rating the person. You are just giving the appraisal to each of the individuals who have to rate this person. So it depends, it involves a lot of bias. The customers may not be happy with the product, and the individual may not solely be responsible for the faulty in the product, but then negative feedback is given. Similarly, the peer group who is not happy with his behavior. It depends, various behavioral factors come into this, and then it sidelines positive feedback. The other error is, it garners dishonest reviews. It covers up. So these are the major disadvantages of having a 360-degree feedback. It also increases distrust in the leader by having this kind of mechanism in assessing the performance of an employee. And it is a very lengthy and very time-consuming process, because there are about 5 to 6 people rating an individual's performance. It takes time. So it is also a time-consuming process. Now let us summarize what exactly we have learned in this particular module. We have discussed about different methods, modern methods. What are the modern methods which are prevailing in the organizations? We discussed about them, like from 360-degree feedback to having bars and having other methods which are modern in nature, which are generally being used in the organization. We discussed about all these methods in this particular module.